You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Laston. With me tonight is Mr. Adam Wood. Contrary to what the video intro says, we are here for the North-South Racing League from Stafford Speedway. How are you doing tonight, Adam?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. I can't wait to get here. I mean, I've been looking forward to Stafford for a little bit here. It's a very unique track. I love the long straightaways here and the sweeping corners. I can't wait to see what these guys can really do here, getting away from these truly short track racing. They can actually open it up tonight, so I can't wait to see the guys on the track.
No, Stafford is a perfect track for these street stocks. Yeah, we're talking about a mile or a half a mile, but it's wider. It's nice rounded corners. Got just enough banking to where these guys should be able to just fly around this track. We're seeing 21-second laps, but the thing I want to talk about right now is tonight is one of the showdown events for the North-South Racing League. So we have a plaque on the line for the winner tonight. And you know what? That's going to make it just that much more aggressive on track, because nothing makes you feel better than a little trophy for being awesome.
Oh man, you know, these guys are going to be out there racing hard for that plaque. I mean, you know, having that win underneath your belt is a fantastic thing, but having a plaque from winning this showdown tonight is going to be, you know, something to hold above all of the other drivers. I mean, yeah, you got a win, but I got a plaque and a win. So, you know, we got a lot of people out here hoping to get a win. We got Ryan Johnson right now on the top of the leaderboard in this practice session. We just had to set up a new one, so prior to that, Dante Curtis was the leader of the last practice session. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot of fast talent out here. And I know these guys are ready to be back on a nice oval like this. That's more predictable. Last week we were on dirt. The week before that on a very short track racing. So these guys are ready to like open her up, stretch the legs just a little bit, and have some fun.
Yeah, Stafford's going to run like an intermediate in the Cup that you got to lay off a little bit of brakes depending on the situation. But truly, this track is made for the street stocks, the modifieds, the super late models. This is home for these cars. And there's no way around that.
Yeah, these cars are going to handle fantastic on here. You see a little bit of a loose condition coming off the corners just a little bit. For these guys being very aggressive, trying to get all the speed she's got coming off of turns 2 and 4. But I think it's going to be a fantastic show tonight.
Well, as we're sitting here, we're actually watching a bit of a side-by-side battle. Honestly, Stafford is not going to be the kind of track that'll be a sustainable side-by-side. Somebody's going to get in front eventually. But it really opens up the opportunity for a crossover. So as long as you can pin someone down on that low line and know what you're doing coming out of the corner. As again, we're watching John Cross right now battling side by side with the 68 of Jordan Madron. This is what I expect to see a lot of tonight.
I mean, these guys are going to have to send it in on the bottom lane. I think the bottom lane is going to be the passing lane, like most of the tracks that these guys go to. But don't discredit that outside line. I mean, you're getting a little bit better run because the banking, I think, is just a little bit higher. Not much, but the inside line is putting its left set of tires almost on that complete flat inside apron to get a good turn there. So you're going to have a little bit of an advantage on the outside in terms of speed going down the back straightaway.
And it's going to really play a lot into the situation that these guys, we're running this track during the day. Can never remember if this has lights because I've only ever run it during the day. So I'm gonna
There's some lights up there, I see. See some lights up at the top.
I've only ever run it during the day. But right now the track temperature, not astronomical at 106 degrees, but it's definitely a little bit warmer than what we've been seeing as of recent with these night races. So it's going to make the Hoosiers a little bit slippery and just, again, make it where these guys have to be a little more cautious getting on to that throttle as we sit there and watch somebody get a little bit loose coming out of the corner.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to carry the speed going down in the corner. They're going to try to do a light break to dive underneath the guy in front of them. And I think the guy on the outside, he's going to see it coming. He's going to lay back a little bit, break a little bit earlier in the corner, and try to do the crossover move because you know, the person in front of him probably do a slide job or something close to it and do a crossover. And I can't wait for it. Wait to see what these guys can do to try to battle back and forth.
Well, and you made reference to it that Dante Curtis had the lead coming out of the previous session, and he's back. He only has by 0.05 of a second over Ryan Johnson right now, but we have him back at the top of the leaderboard as we are waiting because of the new session for things to get moved forward because we are about ready for qualifying. Everybody's taking some time getting the rubber laid down on the track to at least get it just a little bit closer to where it was with that.
The admin just came across the channel and they said they were just trying to verify that everybody made it from the other server. They had to stand up a new race server for these guys tonight, so they just want to make sure everybody's in this new server before they advance it. We're not going to go for the full 24 minutes we have left here in this practice session, so they're just going to give a few more minutes and then we'll move over to the qualifying, which will be 5 minutes and only 2 laps. So you guys all get 2 laps to go out and run this track to see who can put down the fastest lap here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
And it's going to be one of those things that it's probably going to be very important. Track position is going to be key. But the one thing that these guys are going to have to keep in mind, like every week, we are going to be looking at a position inversion. And I'm actually going to wait to announce what that is because I know some of the guys probably watch this and may try to strategize.
Yeah, you know, other broadcasts we've seen our drivers in race message us on the Facebook or YouTube. They comment on it. So yeah, we'll wait and until we see all this. Ooh, man, they're gonna go 3 wide here on my screen. Waiting for all of them to get that qualifying down before we do the invert.
Well, maybe not down, but we see a good chunk of the guys get through it because we want to give things away. We don't want somebody to try to realize, okay, this is where that specific position is. So honestly, I think there are quite a few guys in this league that are good enough to where they would be able to plan their lap around hitting a relatively specific time.
or just, come off a turn 4 and just not go to 100% throttle there. You're not 97, 95. Try to lay back just a little bit. You run a perfect lap all the way up until that point.
And hit the brakes.
Yeah. I'd say I wouldn't hit the brakes, so to speak. Just a little less throttle there coming off the corner. That'll lose you about maybe a tenth or so right now. The spread is 21.27 for the race leader, and up to the top 15 is not that much. It's 21.52. So I mean that's 0.3 close to it. So that's a small margin of error you got to try to project.
Well, and if you look, we'll say the top 10. It's even smaller to where it's not even 2 tenths.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really, really small spread. So I mean, you can't really guesstimate it too much. And there we go. That's the end of the practice session.
All right, we are going to go ahead and get ourselves ready to throw down 2 laps to see who qualifies in first. But the question will be, where will they actually get the start, as we're starting to see everybody make their way around? So the first one I saw pop up was Mr. Josh Nelms, and he is out on the back stretch in the slightly unorthodox pit road situation here, to where it's kind of in the middle of the infield rather than along the front stretch. And he's off actually a little bit loose out of turn 4, but gets the power down to start his first lap. Runs it a little bit wide, gets a good arc to get the power off the corner though and run as fast as you can. He's using that apron to cut off as much of the track as he can, gets a good launch out of turn 4, and being the first person done, he's on provisional pole. The 91 of Adam Gable is in okay, and then Mr. Matt Cook takes that one over. And as the laps are ticking in, Dante Curtis, the current points leader in the league, sets down the pole position and goes off track. Ryan Johnson is currently in second, looking to improve on his first lap. Getting himself around, coming out of turn 4, powers down a little bit of a slide to get as much, and is not able to improve. So right now, this is the part that's actually kind of throwing me for a little bit there, as we'll watch the 23 of Gary Eschen continue around the track. I'm only seeing 2 decimal places, but Dante Curtis and Ryan Johnson are dead even according to that math.
They are, I say 7 tenths off. So Dante Curtis ran a 21.295 and Ryan Johnson ran a 21.302. So very close.
Close enough to where rounding puts them right next to each other. And that is kind of amazing. But the problem is right now, Mr. Dante Curtis, since he does not get the EOL to put him at the back anyway, our inversion tonight is 12 drivers. So Dante Curtis is actually going to be starting in 12th, and that is going to move the 10 of John Cross up to the front.
Actually, now it's Jeff Bergener.
Jeff Bergener pulls that off, and we'll see. We do have one car. The 13 of Will Eastman is out on track still and
blinking.
Okay. And there we go.
Yeah, I think he messed up coming out of turn 4 there. Came to a stop.
So what you're saying...
We got Bryan Hacker.
What you're saying is that Will Eastman intentionally blinked out on me so we didn't have to see that. And, all right, Bryan Hacker gets himself around and up into 3rd. And he's running around trying to get a second lap, and that Trans Am is moving a little bit sideways. 3rd is definitely a great position to be in, so why not go all in trying to get a faster lap.
I mean, his qualifying lap is faster than his practice time laps. So, I mean, he put it all out there. You saw the car sideways coming out of turn 2. He wasn't leaving anything on the track tonight.
And with that, everyone has set a time. So, for some reason or another, we are going to have 5 drivers starting from the back. So Josh Nelms, Jonathan Cross, Jesse Womack, Casey Wood, and Randy Nichols will all be getting EOLs. Randy Nichols is for winning last week's race, so let's see him work his way back up through the field. The other 4, it's for incidents, and I can't say I blame any of them for that one, because dirt just, no.
Yep.
Nope.
So like Josh was saying, this is an interesting track when it comes to pit stops. So normally you would enter into your pit road coming out of turn 4 and exit probably around turn 1-ish, maybe turn 2, depending on how the exit road comes out. But this one's a lot different. We have a your entry to pit road is going into turn 3, and then you go down dead center of the whole entire track, and then it loops around and you come out of turn 2. So you skip turns 4, turns 1, and basically turn 2.
All right, as we are gonna go ahead and that's not what I wanted to see. We'll run through where everyone qualified. Remember, the top 12, this is not where they're going to end up starting. But our top qualifier tonight is Dante Curtis. Second was Ryan Johnson. Third, Bryan Hacker. Fourth is Gary Eschen. Fifth, Dustin Shepard. Sixth, Justin Grosser. Seventh, Matt Cook. Eighth, Devin Rogers. Ninth, Adam Gable. And 10th is Will Eastman.
Yeah, it's way different than what I have. So I'm going to go try to read off of yours. 11th is...
I can just run through it.
Yeah, go for it.
11th is Cody Hubert. 12th, Travis Hoefler. 13th, Jeff Bergener. 14th is John Cross. 15th, Matt Dula. 16th is Jordan Madron. 17th, Justin Rigsby. 18th is Josh Nelms. And 19th is Brandon Klesniski. 20th, Jesse Womack. 21st, I think there is an issue.
It's Philip Martin. 22nd is Robbie Clavey. 23rd is Shane Loveridge. 24th is Dan Janin. And 25th is Jeff Mathis. Mine was already inverted, so that's the reason why my top 12 did not match yours. So on my screen, the top 12 has already been inverted, because when I got 12th, I was like, oh yeah, that's Dante Curtis. So after that, everything else kind of worked itself out.
Well, and since there was no Heat 1, I can't go through that. So
Yep, Heat 1 has already been skipped because we don't have enough people. We have 25. It takes 27 through 30. If we had more than 27 drivers, we'd have heat races, but we are at 25 drivers tonight. So we'll be starting the race here shortly. We're in the 5-minute warm-up session, just over halfway through. We got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left of it.
all right, what we're gonna go ahead and do is take a quick break, hear from our title sponsor for the night, and apparently I have the wrong profile up, and that's what the problem is. So I am not going to be able to pull up any of the commercials tonight. I don't know why.
Hey, go ahead and swap it over, man.
I don't have that option because I'm streaming. You can't swap it while you're streaming. So what we will have to do tonight is cheat a little bit and tell you about our sponsors for the night. Once I can, actually plan ahead. 'Cause I'm not good at that. I'm actually kind of terrible about all of that. I'm sitting here hoping that maybe Adam will save me from my rambling, but apparently he doesn't like me that much.
Everybody loves to ramble.
I actually kind of do. That's why this is such a fantastic gig for me. Is I'm absolutely amazing at rambling.
All right, so one of our first title sponsors tonight will be Cross Collision Auto Body. They're located in Minerva, Ohio, and they specialize in returning your car back to its pre-accident condition. They work with every insurance company out there to fix your car the correct way. For scheduling and questions, please visit their Facebook page or call the shop at 330-868-6011. That's 330-868-6011. That is Cross Collision and Body. So that's one of the wonderful sponsors here.
All right, and let's go ahead, give a little bit of a shout out. We've referenced that this is a special race, and these guys are actually going to be running for a plaque, and that is courtesy of one of our sponsors tonight, Kelly's Custom Engraving. And they are a locally owned and operated business in Blauville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order. So
yeah,
we are
getting that wonderful plaque is going to be fantastic. If you haven't seen what it looks like, go to North South Racing League's Facebook page. They have it published there. They have everything made except for the driver's name. So we'll find out tonight whose name is going to go on that beautiful plaque.
And again, I have got mine through the AOLL, and you know what? There's nothing quite like looking at that. It's just one of those moments of pride that just make you happy. And we are...
It lights up your room, doesn't it?
No, I got a little something extra that I should probably post photos of at some point. But we are going around. It's 2 to green on these short tracks. So we have one more lap before we go racing, and these guys are raring to go. We are lined up 2 by 2, a field that is 25 cars deep tonight, and I am looking forward to 200 fantastic laps of no-holds-barred racing tonight. And the pace truck is off, so we are ready to go green and waiting for that flag to drop. And we are off. The 30 gets a reasonable jump, not the greatest jump, to where he is going to be under pressure from the 20 on the inside. The 20 is going to get the job done, using a lot of that apron to make sure he can get up in front to start leading this pack. The 20 is running away. We are starting to go 2 by 2 right now, only as far back as the battle for 4th, as the 25 gets himself down low. The 15 of Matt Cook is trying to get himself down comfortably, and right now Justin Grosser in that 38 is trying to be the next person to join this line, and we're staying side by side. Actually see a little bit of contact between Gary Eschen and the 89 of Dustin Shepard, but he gets himself down onto that low line. The 11 of Bryan Hacker is hung up on that outside line. We're going to start to see everybody try to hold and get down low and let anybody unfortunate enough to end up on that high line, just stay out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's good practice right now. We're at, we have 200 laps. We're only on lap 4 right now, so we got plenty of time. These guys can get to see what these new tires can do on the outside. And later in the race, maybe when the tires start wearing out, the outside line might be a place you can kind of run to, because the tires will give up a little bit of grip on the entry. So you'll be able to kind of hook the outside maybe a little bit more. But we won't know until we're a lot deeper in this run if this outside line is going to come in and make it actually viable.
Well, and right now we're seeing what is the best plan for all of these guys. Let's just get single file, get a groove going, and just get some laps under the belt. There's no need to start making any kind of desperation moves 6 laps into 200, and just calmly hit your groove and try to be the one that saves the tires, because if we stay green, those Hoosiers are going to become the most important thing here in about 30 laps.
Yeah, the guy who can manage their tires the best here by not overdriving the entry of the corner here is going to be the one that's going to kind of be able to move up later in the race. So we're going to see who's going to be aggressive up front and who's going to be kind of laying back on corner entry, saving that front right tires. And we see Justin Grosser go up the track right there. The 89 of Dustin Shepard try to take over and capitalize there, looking on the inside going into turn 3.
Yeah, he's trying to get himself down low. This is one of those tracks that if you do get a tire down below that white line, it's not going to be game over like some of the others. It's one of the advantages of the slightly low banking here, and you can actually use that as an opportunity to help you turn the car if you're brave.
Yeah, you got to be brave to be able to drop it down the apron like that. Hitting it every so often, but really planting those left side tires down by like about 2 or 3 foot underneath that apron. So, you got to be a little bit brave there, especially when the tires get older.
Well, and again, right now, we've seen some races to where there's cautions a lot pretty early, but it seems like everybody's being patient, knowing we've got a lot of laps to run. We're barely over 5% done. And I'm seeing that there may have been
somebody
a
in the
crash.
infield. There he comes back on the blending on the track back there.
We stay green.
Jesse Womack in the 14.
And that's one of those unfortunate, and that's going to put him a lap down, and we'll actually go on board. This is actually the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera, and just kind of see what's going on here. He is a lap down, but we can get an idea of what it looks like going around this track.
I mean, you're noticing that he has to get off the throttle just a little bit going on the corner entry. You can see the red light go off on the dash. His engine's RPMs drop down. He's got a handful right now. His tires are probably super heated after spinning going through the grass right there. So he's got a lot of wheel hop right there going into the corner.
All right, we'll move up back on board with the 91 of Adam Gable, who is trying to track down the leaders. He is actually only about a half a second off of second place, but you can see that half second, that's actually not that far to where you should be able to make that one up pretty easily, especially as these guys are coming up on a little bit of lap traffic, and that's going to slow them down. But the one thing that he needs to keep in mind right now is if we go on the gearbox, and it looks like,
I just got passed.
he just got passed. The 25 of Devin Rogers actually takes over third place. And we're seeing side-by-side action right now as Travis Hoefler is trying to get around Cody Hubert to get the lead, gets it done. But right now, our second place driver is battling with a little bit of lap traffic that makes it to where he drops back by a third of a second. And that lap traffic is just going to be a bit of a pest for our leaders as everyone's trying to get around the 31.
Yeah, these guys are having a handful right now. The 25 of Devin Rogers is trying to get past the lap car of the 31. I think that's Justin Rigsby.
It is, and yeah, that's just not these kinds of short tracks. It's very much a rhythm, and you need to be able to get all the way out. As we actually see the 91 get a little bit loose, not used to having to take that low exit and that low entry as the back end starts to come around, but now he's clear, and now it's the 38 of Justin Grosser that's going to have to worry about it.
Yeah, give me right now. They are asking if the cautions are on because they saw a couple of people did happen on the track and no caution was done. I just verified the caution setting is checked, so just the iRacing did throw a caution.
Well, and sometimes if they go off down below the white line, iRacing's not going to worry about it because it's off the racing surface. And I was actually very curious about that because it's not something that we normally see, as we're going to go ahead and jump back, and the 31 is starting to, well, continue to drop back, but it's making the racing very interesting amongst the field as they're all trying to navigate their way around, as the 3 of Ryan Johnson is right there on the back bumper of the 11 as they're working their way through the lap traffic, and that's Dante Curtis right behind them with those 4
the fastest
up.
cars on the track. They haven't really moved up too much. You got Ryan Johnson, Dante Curtis, Bryan Hacker, Gary Eschen, and Dustin Shepard. They've only all moved up 2. I think Justin Grosser, they've only all moved up 2 positions right now since the green flag dropped 24 laps ago. So these guys aren't able to make up the head space that they thought they probably were going to be able to on this track. And they're still kind of just running single file here, whereas I think Philip Martin is the man on the move. He's made up 6 spots so far.
Well, and right now he's got a little bit of extra work, but we're going to jump right here and watch as there's a battle going on for, this is the 12th position. And of course, right as we get there, it's Matt Dula and Jordan Madron going back and forth for 13th position, as we see the 46 get a little bit loose there. Philip Martin tries to collect it, gets it done, but he's going to lose a few more positions to the 14. Oh no, that's a lap. Jesse Womack, who's battling right now to stay as close to that lead as possible. So we see the 46 go down deep onto the apron.
Yeah, Jesse Womack lit the brakes up going into the last corner. I saw a lot of smoke coming from his front left. He locked it up, slid up in the middle of the corner, left the room open for Philip Martin there to get by him. He clears him going into turn. I believe that is turn 1.
All right, I'm going to jump back up here as I'm seeing a little bit of an accordion right now. The 89 seems like he may be holding up a reasonable jump group to where the 89 has Justin Grosser right there on his bumper, Adam Gable, Gary Eschen, Bryan Hacker, Ryan Johnson, Dante Curtis. This entire pack right now is waiting for any kind of an error to be able to
There goes
pounce.
Gary underneath them right there. Gary Eschen going underneath the 91 of Adam Gable, trying to look and try to make a move here.
And manages to get even on the back stretch and should be able to have this clear. And the problem is that's going to open up a large group there to where the 11 should be able to get clear. The 3 and the 03 should all be able to make their way through. And right now, all of those guys should be offering to buy a beer to the 89.
Yeah, one person sets up the next, and it's just a freight train on the outside, and you just lose all those spots right there. 91 just lost, I think 5 spots in that one move.
And that's one of the issues that you're going to end up having is if we can start to see some passes, there's a lot of people just absolutely waiting to take advantage.
Now, the first and second place, they've kind of pulled out right now. They're about a 1.3 seconds out right now in front of the third place, Devin Rogers right now in the 25. So they're out there running, trying to run away from this field as they're starting to hit some more lap traffic right now. They just went by the number 2 car, Dan Janjanin.
Well, and as these guys are making their way around, the only thing that they're thinking is, please stay green. Please.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are having fun. They're in a rhythm right now. 35 laps down as they cross the line right there. They're in a good rhythm. They're learning what the car can and can't do on these longer runs. So they're having fun. And then Travis does not want to see this have a caution and kind of cycle all these faster cars that qualified a little bit faster than him, catch back up to him.
Well, and have them on potentially on that low line to where if they get a reasonable jump, they'll be up there soon enough. Because if the entire bottom line moves in unison, doesn't leave enough space, everybody's going to be moving up at least one spot.
Now, let's see. We got Justin Grosser is now the odd man out there. Gary Eschen jumped underneath him, and Bryan Hacker is going around him right now. And then followed by the 3 of Ryan Johnson and Dante Curtis will most likely all follow through.
And these guys are working together potentially reluctantly, but doing a great job of getting themselves and just, you know what, leapfrogging. As Dante Curtis seems to be the one that's just the odd man out for the time being. Justin Grosser ends up just relinquishing the position. And right now, Gary Eschen is trying to track down that 89 of Dustin Shepard to where, you know what, bring the whole crew this time.
Gary Eschen, he's actually running pretty good laps time right now. He ran his last lap time was almost 2/10 faster than Dustin Shepard in front of him. So he's making his way to his back bumper here very shortly.
And we can take
Actually, that whole entire car pack right now is the fastest people on the track right now, between Gary Eschen all the way back to Dante Curtis. They're all running basically the exact same lap times, and that's those lap times are better than the rest of the field.
And we'll go on board with Gary Eschen as we're watching him try to track down Dustin Shepard. The last lap was about a 1/10 of a second faster. He's got 3/10 to make up right now. We see a little bit of a bobble from the 89 coming out of turn 4. That's going to give him the opportunity to close down that gap even farther. And now's the time for Justin Shepard to just remember, no need to overdrive it. Passing here is not hard. You just got to make sure that he doesn't have that opportunity to get a nose down to get below, because it's almost impossible to recover from.
While you were on board there, we saw Dante Curtis get around Ryan Johnson. He just got a really great line, jumped underneath him, and floated on right by him.
Let's take
just a little bit of a contact there.
Back, and the 3 and the 03, the 3 just seemed to not be ready for that. Swerves up and just ends up relinquishing the position. But right now, this train that we were watching is catching some lap traffic as they are about to be starting lap 45 of 200. And we're seeing an awful lot of passing, a lot of great moves as the 23 drops well below the white line, trying to find anything he possibly can to get that 4th position now.
Yeah, he's working hard, looking, trying to find that low line. See where Dustin Shepard is not going, and he's looking right now to attack. Dustin Shepard goes a little bit high coming out of the corner. Gary drops it down real low, hoping that he could try to fill that void. Was not able to get a good launch off the corner to catch up to him.
And every time he drops down there, it's gonna do a fantastic job of cutting a little bit of time off. But, ooh, as we see a lockup from the 89, and that's going to be everything that these guys need. This entire line of 4 cars should be able to increase their position. And it's unfortunate that that one small slip up is going to drop Dustin Shepard back 4 positions.
73 right in front of him, got in the outside wall. It's a lap traffic. So he's going to go up high this time, get it out of the way of these guys.
And now it is time to see if these guys can make a dent. There's almost a second up to Devin Rogers in the 25.
And then it's a 1.5 seconds from there up to a second place of Cody Hubbard, and then Travis Hoefler, who's leading the race right now, led every lap so far. All 50 laps were a quarter way done.
And right now he's got almost an entire straightaway clear in front of him. So as we are about to finish the first quarter of this race, and we currently are running. Travis Hoefler is first. Ooh.
25 locks it up and goes sideways there. Gary Eschen closes the gap. He's down to a 0.42 right now.
And he is definitely going to be under pressure from this group. These 3 drivers, Gary Eschen, Bryan Hacker, and Dante Curtis, yeah, we've seen a few sketchy moments, and right now Gary Eschen, he's definitely right up there. I'm wondering if the 25's tires are just torched at this point.
I mean, he had a huge slide there in the middle of the corner and slid halfway through the corner. So those tires are pretty heated up right now, and he has no room to, let off and kind of cool these tires down right now. So he's got what he's got, and Gary Eschen's all over his back bumper right now, going through the middle of turns 3 and 4.
Well, but Devin Rogers is playing this exactly like he should, going into the corners to where he's probably cutting down a little bit earlier than he normally would to make sure that these guys can't try to get into the corner slightly lower, wait for any kind of an issue, and ultimately try to get themselves just that little bit of a bumper. And he's a wide going through turn 2, and that's going to give them the opportunity to close that back down a little bit more and get the 23 right up on his bumper. And that's not what he's wanting to see, is that Camaro livery getting down and getting that close. As he's trying to cross over.
He's doing anything he can at this point. Gary's searching everywhere. Devin is trying to protect every lane. It looks like he's trying to go in a little bit lower.
That is gonna do it. He shows, as he gets loose, saves it beautifully to keep us from going under caution. And that's the gentleman move, the jerk move that I've seen once or twice, is just let it go. And he's having issues running that outside line, which is telling me that, yes, those tires are done.
Yeah, I'm looking at his front tires, and I saw them pointing the opposite direction, trying to save that car. He's doing whatever he can. He's wheeling that car all over the place. Now he's behind the number 3 of Ryan Johnson. Maybe he can sit back for a few laps and kind of hopefully let his tires cool off and regroup and catch back up to him. I mean, he had a second and a half over these guys. He has the speed, but does his tires have what it's left to continue on to get moved back forward?
Well, but right now, Gary Eschen is trying to lead this pack up to second place. They're about a turn away and have a lot of ground to make up. Granted, that last lap they were 0.2 faster, but will they be able to make it on fuel and truly take advantage of this extra speed on these older tires?
And Gary Eschen is leading the charge here. I think he has pace just like everybody else that's right behind him. Now 5 cars behind him. Like they're having a really great pack. Like you said, they're about 1 to 2 tenths faster every lap over the race leader in second place. So they're slowly mowing down their lead, but they're still got a 2-second gap between Gary Eschen and Cody Herbert in second place.
But the big thing that we need to keep in mind through this whole process, and that's a beautiful camera angle to show it, our leaders have clear track in front of them, but so does this chasing pack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the way, the mindset of the guys. So you're sitting in second place. Are you trying to run comfortable laps, not eat up your tires? Because Gary Eschen and those pack, they're doing whatever they can to close that 2-second gap. They're pushing every single lap. So do you, as the number 30 car of Cody Herbert, do you push it, or do you try to just ride behind him and save?
If I'm in that specific situation, granted these guys know about how much gas that they have right now, and we're starting to see the potential for the pit window to be opening. If I know that I'm about to need to pit for fuel, I'm not saving a tire. I'm going all in until to where I'm pulling off bald, well, more bald than slicks. Take it down to the threads. But I'm going all in. But here's the big thing is we'll go onto this roll bar with Gary Eschen. That car is starting to close in to where right now it's 1.6 seconds.
Yeah, they dropped 4 tenths already off of these guys, and make that 5 tenths during that one. So they're really close.
And they are doing everything they can.
And somebody just moved up.
What we're going to need to see, and that was Dante Curtis here, actually gets around the 11 by going all the way down onto the apron, and he is a man on a mission, qualified first as the 11 tries to repay the favor, gets him down there, but he's going to get the better run off the corner, and they're going to go back to single file for there and just continue their mission to get themselves back up here as we're on the back stretch, getting ourselves through the first 70 laps of this race. We haven't seen a caution. Knocking on the wood of the desk to keep this one going.
I knock on myself. That's what I can do.
Oh, never thought about that. But, all right, that's actually hilarious.
Oh man,
I won't give you the actual laugh, though, because I won't give that satisfaction.
Oh, there you go. I'll give you the fake lap there. But if we're looking at a 30 car, he's hit the wall a couple times there. I mean, his outside in second place there, and as he makes a huge mess up right there in the middle of the corner, was able to grab it. But his right side of the car is all dented up right now. So he's hit the wall quite a few times to get that much denting going on.
All right, we're actually starting to see a few people as we see Dan Shannon has had an incident. Let's take a quick look to see what happens here.
I think it called him going into pit road in an incident.
No, that is definitely not the situation there. Looks like he was having issues and just dives in. But we're starting to see a few people making their trips into the pits.
Yeah, so far it's just Dan Shannon right now is the only one that's really been in the pit road.
Well, we have Matt Dula has made his way in. The 89 has made a proper pit stop. But we're starting to see maybe we're hitting the end of this fuel run. But the problem is Dante Curtis, and we got to go back here, see what happens. As Dante Curtis takes advantage of Dan Shannon going a little bit awry to get himself down below the 23. And the 11 takes advantage, at least temporarily, but that has released Dante Curtis to start tracking down Cody Hubert.
And we're down to a 6/10.
And he is definitely making short work of getting himself up along and close to the 30.
But look what's in front of them right now.
Oh,
a lot of lap traffic.
Well, and those lapped cars. Right now we have Adam Gable, Jeff Bergener, Brandon Klesniewski, Justin Grosser, Jesse Womack, all in the pits. And
all right, we got a pass.
Just does that.
Second.
And of course, as we're talking about that, Dante Curtis decides to make a pass, so I've got to jump back and just gets himself down below coming out of turn 2. And the 30 is definitely getting a little bit loose, but the 03 gets the pass done, and we're starting to see, will these guys, the top 11, have yet to make their way into the pits. But Travis Hoefler is now being tracked down by Dante Curtis, and we see
a car going through the grass.
Yeah, somebody not quite make pit entry, and so they've got to make their way around. We are on lap 82 of 200, and our leaders have yet to pit.
I mean, you hope probably to push as far as you can go on this one in case there is a caution or something to the effect, because they were at lap 83. So they're trying to push as far as they can in case somehow the second half of the race it comes down to a caution fest of caution breeding cautions, and you kind of can make it on the end without having to pit.
Well, and the one thing that we're seeing from this camera angle is no one wants to be on that outside line, because that outside line is speckled with marbles. So no one's going to want to make their way out there, because
all right, the leader pits.
Our leader decides to make it to where he is finally going to relinquish a lap lead, and Dante Curtis is going to be the first person to lead a lap. Outside of that, is he going to dive into the pits now that he has made his way in?
Yes, he does.
He is, and that's going to give the undercut. And, ooh, that's a little bit loose. Hopefully he got himself down to speed, but that is actually going to give Gary Eschen a lap led and out in the front of this pack. He has yet to pit. Will he make his way in now, or has he managed to save a little bit of extra fuel to get himself a little farther into this race?
He must have. He's going to come around and lead this lap right here. But I think coming into turn 3 this time, we'll see him dive down into the pit road. And as Devin Rogers comes out of pit road right now, right in front of him, and he cannot because Devin Rogers was there even if he wanted to.
And that could be a bit of a problem. But you can watch it and still make it. But right now, we've only got 3 people that have not made their way into the pits. That is Gary Eschen.
That's him coming in right now.
And hopefully he's got enough to get in there. And he's looking a little bit cleaner on entry. For right now, the only person that has yet to make their way into the pits is Robbie Clavey. And he is a lap down, and that's actually going to get him a lap back to where Gary Eschen is currently the leader. Everybody else is the lap down, but he's getting 4 fresh Hoosiers and a whole lot of fuel. But Travis Hoefler had the undercut, and he is 3.5 seconds clear of Dante Curtis.
And Cody Herbert is going to be the race leader. Robbie Clavey is coming into the pit road this time by, which is put Cody Herbert back in the lead. He was the first one of these guys to come in the pit road. He came in 1 lap, I think, earlier than Travis Hoefler did. So he is now the race leader. So that's going to be our 3rd person that led, actually 4th, maybe 5th. Person to lead a lap during this pit exchange.
And sometimes that is the right path forward. Just at least be able to say that you led some laps. Sometimes you'll see the occasional bonus point for that, but we're starting to see the 20 and the 30 back battling it out.
So my question is, we pitted, most people pit around lap 75 to 86. So that puts us in about 150 to 160, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit plus or minus some. You can come in to pit around lap 120, 130 though. When will everybody come in? And when somebody does, is it a follow the leader?
I think, considering basically we started to see our pit windows, I think the one person that probably had the strategy that I would run on is Dustin Shepard came in at lap 64. It seems like everybody's being quite a bit patient, and you're going to need 2 stops through this race no matter what. So I'm going to be that person that's going to come in early. We have seen that the tires are making a difference. So I'm going to make it to where each of my stints is going to be the shortest I possibly can. And make it to where I'm running on as fresh of tires as possible throughout.
I gotcha. We'll take one little break here. We'll go over our league sponsor of J&G Hardwood Flooring. J&G Hardwood Flooring is a small family-owned business which started in 2005, located in Christina, Tennessee, and serves all of Middle Tennessee. Owners of Josh and Brandon Klaczynski have a combined 35 years of experience to serve all of your flooring needs, from new construction, remodels, and even small repairs. For your estimates, call and schedule at 615-904-2218.
All right. We also have our associate sponsor of 5 Star Realty Group. 5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties. They're always looking forward to help you with all of your real estate needs.
Oh man. Yeah, you know, you need realtors only a few times in your lifetime, but when you need them, you need a competent person. So make sure you go out there and find the 5 Star Realty person if you're in that area that services them, and get you a good real estate agent when you need them.
Honestly, I've unfortunately needed real estate agents in much more of my life than most people would consider healthy or normal.
Oh man, I'm lucky. Luckily, my first house sold itself. I didn't have to do anything. It sold in a day, and then I think my last one, it was a pain. And when the higher the price of the house, the harder it is to really get a good sell. So especially in that time in the market, and first real estate agent had terrible. Oh man, it was terrible. We actually just unlisted the house just to get rid of them for a little bit and rented the house out for a year and came back and like, let's try with a different person this time.
All right, we have hit half race distance, and we're going to go ahead and keep focused right now on this battle for first, to where Cody Hubert and Travis Hoefler are sitting there duking it out, but this battle is giving the opportunity for Dante Curtis to try to close down that gap. Right now it's a little bit over a second and a half, but we'll go through and see where the top 10 stand. In first right now is Cody Hubert. Second is Travis Hoefler. Third, Dante Curtis. Fourth is Adam Gable. And fifth right now is Ryan Johnson. Sixth, Justin Grosser. Seventh is Matt Cook. Eighth, Jeff Bergener. Ninth is Bryan Hacker. And 10th is Philip Martin.
Yeah, I'm looking over the pit road times right now and trying to see where everybody was making gains and losses. Right now, Dante Curtis took 46 seconds for his pit stop, whereas Cody Hubert was only 37 seconds. So that was 9-second gap right there over him. And then you had Travis Hoefler, he had 41. So that was a 5-second gap over him right there. So that's a huge time loss. Wonder what happened to Dante during that pit stop to give him that extra bonus time there to sit on pit road and watch these guys pull away from him.
And given the somewhat wild variation that we're seeing between pit times, I'm wondering if maybe there is quite a difference between the number of people that are doing just right sides only and those that are running all 4 tires. As
what if some people play fuel games?
That could be, because again, we know we need one more stop tonight. There's no way around it.
Cut the fuel a little bit short on that, the middle stop here, or your first stop, and cut off a couple of seconds. Because 9 seconds is a lot to cut off on a pit stop. If everybody pulled out 4 tires and a fuel, that's 9 seconds that the 30 was able to gain over everybody else. As a 68 slaps the wall right there twice in front of leaders. And
that could end up being a little nerve-wracking for our leader, as he managed to get himself up by 0.6 of a second, but trouble is brewing here back in third, as Dante Curtis has managed to cut down what was a 3-second gap to get himself right on the rear bumper of the 20, and is looking to get himself all the way up and start battling for this lead, as we have completed 109 laps.
Yeah, Dante Curtis has dropped it down. He's down to about less than 3/10, basically a car length away from our second place Travis Hoefler. And Cody Herbert has to be looking in his mirror like, crap, where'd he come from? Because Dante Curtis wasn't there a minute ago, and now he's right there, front and center in his rearview mirror.
And doing everything he possibly can to try to get himself up there. But the one thing that is actually doing is that gap up to our leader for Travis Hoefler, that has narrowed slightly. So it seems like Dante Curtis may actually be bringing the best out of this 20 car, as both the 20 and the 30 get a little bit loose. The 20 is looking like he's going to be in trouble as the 03 gets himself down below going into turn 3. And he's going to be able to have second place once they cross the line to start lap 113. And now Dante Curtis has the mission of tracking down our leader. And the problem is he's coming up on 2 lapped cars. They're inevitably going to slow him down. And Cody Hubert is going to be under pressure much faster than he's been hoping.
Yeah, he was hoping that, Travis would kind of slow him down for a few more laps, give that wonderful buffer for a couple more laps. But that didn't happen. Travis made just a little bit of a bobble, went up the track a little bit. Dante Curtis jumped all over that little mishap that he had, and he's right there on his back bumper. But these 3 have pulled away for the rest of the field. The 4th place is 6.5 seconds back from this battle right now.
And we'll actually jump back there as the 91 of Adam Gable has the 3 of Ryan Johnson, only about a quarter of a second off of his back bumper, and the rest of the field is pretty much over 1 second, with the exception of our leaders. And I'm gonna jump back up because 0.2 of a second right now separate our leader from Dante Curtis, and Cody Hubert is going to do everything in his power to cut off any opportunity, and he runs wide through turn 2, and that is going to open up that door for Dante Curtis to keep his nose down below. Dante Curtis is holding that low line, and he's going to get the pass done after the 30 ends up in the marbles, and it may take a lap or 2 before he's able to clean those tires off and get himself back to the proper grip levels that he's looking for. But he should be able to hold on to second for a little while at least.
Yeah, in front of Dante Curtis is the last place on the lead lap right now. In 12th spot is Gary Eschen. We saw Gary Eschen leading the charge earlier in that number 23, but he's now the next guy on the chopping blocks for Dante Curtis to pass and go to lap down. So you go from leading the pack, charging up to the front, to being the guy on the chopping block.
Well, and the one thing we did see with that 23 is he was fantastic on that long run. Not necessarily the fastest straight out of the gate. He did make up quite a bit. But the problem is now it's time for him to start trying to hang on to be on that lead lap. In case the caution comes out, he doesn't have to use the lucky dog. He gets to just start amongst all of the non-lap traffic.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's about 5 second gap between him and Devin Rogers, who's the next person will be on the chopping blocks coming up. So if and when Gary does go a lap down, it's going to be a while before Dante Curtis is able to lap somebody else, and so it leaves him on the lucky dog bubble there for quite a bit if a caution does come out.
So we're going to go ahead and jump back here as the 20 has gotten around the 30 as we were going through that whole process. I'm actually quick replay of that as the 30 just gets a little bit loose through 1 and 2 and ultimately has to relinquish the position. I'm wondering, did Cody Huebridge just burn up a little bit too much of his tires trying to stay in front of Dante?
He might have. He just smacked the wall right there, coming down the front straightaway right there. Just ever so slightly bounced off the wall right there. We're at lap 125. So from here on, the pit window's open. They can pit right now and make it to the end of the race. So we're going to have to see. We got John Cross right now and Dan Janjanin. They were the first one. I know Dan Janjanin was one of the first ones in last time. And then we got John Crossan right now. So we'll see what shakes out from this. See if John Cross will be able to kind of make up some headroom here.
And with those fresh tires, as we're going to jump right here with Justin Grosser, who has the 15 of Matt Cook, who has Jesse Womack between them. But it's under a half a second of gap right there, as that 38 is looking a little bit crunched on the outside. But Matt Cook seems to have the speed, gets himself down low, and is going to try to make a run to get himself up into 6th position and keep putting the pressure on the 38. And the other
these
thing
rights,
is the 21, Jeff Bergener, is trying to get himself up there and around the 14 to get him truly into this battle. He has the speed. He's dropping down below the low line, trying to find anything he can to get around the lap traffic and back to battling.
yeah, these right sides look like they crumple very easily on this racetrack. Like, you look at most of these cars, they've kind of just barely gently tapped these outside walls, but it shows these cars are very wrinkled up on the outside. As we got Jeff Bergener, like you said, in that 21 chasing down, trying to get past.
That's the best view we can see. Is love the chrome, love the simplicity of the car, but yeah, definitely the reflections do not do well when there's been a few taps on the wall. As we're going to go ahead and go away from him, because now that we're talking about him, he seems to be having an issue or two. Back to this battle right now for 6th, as Matt Cook is still trying to close down the gap on Justin Grosser and really starting to create a little bit of interesting racing, as we have made it 132 laps without the yellow flag coming out and continuing to knock on the wooden desk to say, let's just go ahead and keep it green.
Yeah, I mean, this is a welcome sight come from last week at the wonderful dirt track, where we saw just caution after caution. These guys are happy to have the green flag out for 134, about to be 135 laps straight here. We got Justin Grosser pulls it in really quickly into pit road, coming in for his final stop of the night, most likely, if we don't have a caution.
And that is the right move. Let's go ahead. You're starting to get closed in on. Get yourself in there. Get that final stop done. Because I think the biggest issue these guys are battling right now, tire temperature. You go under caution, you can cool them down.
Cody Herbert in 3rd is in.
And I think that right there, the 38 was the trigger.
I mean, if Dante Curtis stays out, I mean, you know, you have to stay out quite a bit more than your competition. If everybody else pits right now, Dante Curtis has about a 3-second gap. So, I mean, that's quite a bit on track for the other people have to make up. That's less fuel he's got to put in, more laps he stays out. So it's a double-edged sword on that aspect for him. He can stay out a little bit longer, but that's less fuel he has to put in to make it at the end of the race.
And with the fresh slicks on these tires, less fuel means there's less weight to have to turn. Some cars it does make it a little bit tighter because there's not as much weight pressing down on the wheel. And since we aren't really talking about massively aero-dependent cars, that can be huge, but there's no denying a much lighter car is going to accelerate faster. And we're going to make a quick jump back here. Is right now Bryan Hacker, one of the stellar performances from qualifying today, is trying to close in on the 21 of Jeff Bergener, and I'm hoping that this does not turn into more commentator's curse like we've already seen. Commentator's curse is a thing. It is 100% real. We put it on a lot of people. We put that bad juju out there. We apologize when we do. But right now he is closing in. He's ever so slightly slower on that last lap, but that's just because he's trying to work that car around and see if there's anything he can do that can get himself just a little bit of an advantage. But he's got to be careful because going a little too low at this point on his stint. As we see right there, getting a little loose on corner entry, and that's going to give Jeff Bergener a little bit of extra breathing room as we see the 14 get loose, catch it well, and we're back to battling under 0.2 of a second.
All right, I'm out here looking at lap times. Dante Curtis ran a 21.87 on his last lap, and Cody Hubbard on brand new tires ran a 21.68. So that's about 0.2 of a difference for new tires. So Dante Curtis ended up pulling about 3 seconds, a little bit more over him. So it's going to take quite a few laps before Cody Hubbard is able to kind of run to catch up and get by Dante Curtis before he pits.
But if I'm in Dante's shoes,
Ooh.
no one within striking distance at this point has made their way into pit lane.
Yeah, the closest person is Travis, who's been sitting there in second place after he passed him. He's 4 seconds back and hasn't pitted yet. So he's still on the same pit strategy as him. So nobody's near him.
We're sitting here watching the 11 dive into the pits. You can't quite make the move, so go ahead, get yourself in there, and see if you can get the undercut. You already commented on it. We're seeing the 21 make his way in. That one lap on fresh tires can make all the difference on the pass, especially when there's only 0.2 difference.
Yeah, whenever you're in close battles like that, like Jeff Bergener was with Matt Cook and all them, like that's when you need to pit and try to outdo your teammates or your competitors on the track.
And the 20 is in, so we'll see if our race leader is going to react. At this point, he is not. So right now, the only two cars on the lead lap are Dante Curtis and Ryan Johnson. There is a nearly 12-second gap between them.
Yeah, right now they're still out there. The top 5 have not pitted yet. They're still only showing as one pit stop right now, and Dante Curtis and Ryan Johnson are only 2 on the lead lap. The other ones are Philip Martin, Devin Rogers, and Gary Eschen. They're all 1 lap down that haven't pitted. So and Philip Martin goes in right now. So that's going to leave only 4 other drivers out there that have not pitted.
And here's the thing that could be going through Dante's mind, Ryan Johnson. We are about to complete 3/4 of this race as Dante Curtis takes and crosses the line to start lap 151. There has been not a single caution.
No, and we got 51 laps to go as Dante Curtis comes in now.
Dives in, and that's going to give Ryan Johnson the opportunity to react if he's going to come in. However, it looks like he is going to go ahead and stay out, get a lap led. But they also had the opportunity. Yes, we have shown that it's very possible to go green flag start to finish at this track.
I mean, and then we still have another, I think, probably about 8 to 10 laps of Ryan Johnson. He could stay out. I mean, this is a huge strategy call right now. If Ryan Johnson stays out until his tank is basically dry, he's just waiting for a caution to happen, because in the closing laps, that's when everybody starts to get aggressive. They don't want to give up the little spots. They're going to protect their spots. They're going to maybe put the nose, just give them the tip just so slightly, go in the corners. And as Ryan Johnson goes in the pit road.
As I see that, so I'm going to make a quick jump back here. Watch the 0-1 of Josh Nelms. He's unfortunately fallen victim. He hasn't pitted since lap 86, so he is due to make his way in. But it did not take long for Dante Curtis. Once he gets around the track this time, it's going to put him right back in the lead as he's trying to get around the lap track and pick up the 10 of John Cross.
So Dante Curtis, his pit stop time was 36 seconds compared to Travis. Travis was in second place, running about 4 seconds back, and his pit stop was 45 seconds. So that was an extra 9 seconds on this one. So, yeah, Dante Curtis was the winner on this one.
That is an understatement. But
he gave up a lot on the first one. He won the second one.
But he's only having to put about 2/3 the fuel in it if we stay green. And there's a chance he only did the right sides, which my specific knowledge of.
Ooh, we got a 73 in the infield right now.
Let's take a quick look back. He got helped. And that was right in front of our leader. And luckily that ended up off the track. And we stay green. Because here's to hoping I can actually see the first front to back race of my life in iRacing. And 200 laps. This is quite the feat.
I mean, 200 laps. I mean, that's 200 laps of variables of throwing a caution or a caution coming out. Right now, we're at lap 158 with no caution, and it's good to see. I know there's a lot of people out there begging for cautions, hoping for something, because right now we only have 7 people on the lead lap. Dante Curtis is putting on a clinic out there right now, and his lap probably about 70% of the field.
This is 9th through 12th, as the 25 at the back of this pack is trying to get around the 15 of Matt Cook. Devin Rogers has been closing this gap down this whole time as they're battling with a little bit of lap traffic for themselves. The 10 of John Cross is becoming a little bit of a roadblock there. The 25 gets down below, and now he's going to go ahead and have to fight with the 10, and that could open up the door for the 15 once again.
Yeah, the 15's battling hard. He's trying to get ahead of them, but we know Devin Rogers, he's got speed. He showed it earlier. He's going to try and look down low and below the 10 here, but we know Devin Rogers got speed. He was running third for a long time until that train came up there. I think he just ran out of tires there. He overheated them, and once you overheat your tires and you're in that stiff competition that this guy was in, it's hard to cool them back down with all this green flag racing.
And again, tires are everything. And not make your way right up to marbles. You can't be the one that gets pushed up all the way out. You can't go too low at this point in the race because there's extra chunks of rubber even on the low side on the track. So 100%, as now that there's a little bit clean air, we're seeing Devin Rogers start.
Oh, 68 going sideways in the middle, right in front of them. He blinks out.
Blinks out.
And there was a caution.
There is our caution. Oh, the one person that did not want to see that is Mr. Dante Curtis. But the person that definitely wanted to see that is Bryan Hacker, who has made his way up into second place.
And Philip Martin wanted to see this because he was right behind the leader as a lucky dog.
But here is the story. Josh Nelms, a name that we have not really talked all that much about, diving into pit road. He was up 15 positions before this. And this was a relatively free stop for him, so he shouldn't lose too many positions. But he is making his way around, and right now as we run and are getting stacked up, Dante Curtis is our leader, Bryan Hacker in second, Ryan Johnson in third, fourth Travis Hoefler, fifth is Jeff Bergener, sixth Cody Hubrid, seventh is Philip Martin, and we've got a little bit of chaos after that point as people have made their way into the pits. We're gonna have the lucky dog, so I'm not gonna say too much beyond that. As Ryan Johnson actually decides to make the dive into the pits.
Wait,
so
what?
does Cody Hubrid.
Come in and get some right side tires. A little bit of fuel, help it turn a little bit better.
And that's exactly what Ryan Johnson does, just gets those right sides. And it looks like from what I'm seeing here, the 91 is going to go ahead and get EOL for that. And let's actually, a lot of chaos right there. But we haven't looked at this one again. Where, that incident. Yeah, the 91 got an EOL for that, and I would say, in my personal opinion, yeah, that was just going in hot.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see it, but especially causing the first and only caution of the night. Will the old saying come true? Cautions breed cautions, or this is one off and we'll go green for the rest of the race. We got 30 laps. I think the pace truck's lights are off. We're gonna have a 30-lap shootout here to the finish.
I want to say yes. Yes, this will be clean going forward. These guys stacked up side by side. Dante Curtis leading us to the green. Getting ready to go, backing up the field a little bit, goes right before the exit of turn 4, gets himself up right in front of Bryan Hacker, does a great job stopping what kind of a run he had. The 20 is right on the bumper of the 11, trying to get himself down there, but the 21 has managed to get himself up significantly to where Jeff Bergener, despite the outside of that car looking a little rougher than you would want your chrome to look, he is up quite a few positions, getting himself up to 9, but he's looking to be stuck on that outside. The 20 is going to go ahead and get down on the low line, all the way down onto the apron, making sure he has no kind of contact with the 21, but that's giving the 21 the opportunity to hold on to the position, try to get, but he goes high. That's going to put him side by side with a 3. The 3 is going to come down low, only about midway up the track, but that should be plenty as he's right on the bumper of the 20. And Dante Curtis has started to check out. Bryan Hacker is right there on his bumper trying to check out. The 20 is now coming under pressure from the 3.
Yeah, the next one back is we got the 30. 30, he's hanging out there on the outside. Cody Herbert, he went and got a fresh set of tires. He's hanging on the outside, just smacks the wall, coming off a turn 2 there. He's doing what he can, trying to fit in right now in front of 38 of Justin Grosser. It does. Everybody's going. Now we got to look at number 3 right there. Ryan Johnson's on the inside. Gets by Travis Hoefler.
And those right sides are definitely making all the difference for him.
Ryan Johnson is a threat every single week when he comes out here, and he's showing it right now. He's wheeling it. You saw his tires turn left and right there. He's putting everything he's got to go into it. He's got 26 laps to get up there, get by Bryan Hacker, and try to chase down Dante Curtis.
All right, we're going to jump back a little bit to where Cody Hubert is trying to make a move. Not really able to get it done, and he's doing everything he can to stay on this lead lap. I'm going to jump back a little bit farther to where the 98 and the 15 are battling. The 15 is stuck up on that outside line, trying to hang on to as much as he can. He's going to drop in behind the 46, though that is not a battle for position, as Philip Martin is actually currently running in 8th, trying to get himself back in front of some of this lap traffic. But we're going to move back up. The 21 is coming under pressure from the 01, who is right there on the bumper and has Cody Hubert in that 30, waiting for any kind of mistake from these guys.
This looks like the 01 of Josh is sinking in pretty deep, which he has to give up a lot of his exit speed, and the 21's able to pull away just a little bit, going down the straightaways from him.
Well, and we're going to move back up here as Bryan Hacker is under pressure from Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson is underneath and clear of the 11. And right now, it's not going to be the most exemplary lap, but he is running a pretty even pace with our race leader of Dante Curtis, if not just ever so slightly faster, because Dante Curtis did not make any kind of a pit stop. And as we cross the line, we are 20 laps to go. Even just those right side tires are going to make a huge difference, as he was nearly 2/10 faster than our race leader on that last lap.
I mean, Dante Curtis has to be looking at his relative right now and trying to see where he can pick up the speed, because he did not pit, but the number 3 of Ryan Johnson did, and he's coming, I would say in a hurry, but with 19 laps to go, he's going to be there before he knows it.
And the unfortunate thing is, as long as Ryan Johnson has not cooked his tires through the process of getting himself up into second place, he's going to be a threat. He's going to make up that time. And chances are he's going to make that pass.
Well, the question is, will he be able to? Dante Curtis knows how to drive this car. Will he be able to find a way around him?
Honestly, I firmly believe we've seen Ryan Johnson make some great moves throughout the night. I would venture the guess that it's not an if, it's going to be a when.
I don't know. Dante Curtis has been up there. He's driving almost of a perfect race. We haven't really seen that much of a mistake or bobbles out of Dante Curtis. And I think with Dante Curtis running that bottom line, I mean, he is hugging that inside white line all the way throughout the corner. If he stays there, it's going to make it really hard for Ryan Johnson to get underneath him whenever Dante Curtis is already running that low.
Well, the thing that we're going to have to watch as these guys cross the line once again, they're pretty much matching one another's lap times. And you know what? The last few laps, the difference has not really changed all that much. Well, that one it did. But I think that Ryan Johnson may have ended up using his best laps to get himself into this battle. And with only 14 laps to go, crossing the line for 13, he may not be able to get this done, so I'm gonna have to walk back what I've already said.
I mean, Ryan Johnson still has a shot to catch up to him, but like you said, the tires might start to equalize for those 2 tires that he put on the outside. After all these laps here, we got 13 laps to go, about to be 12 laps as they cross the line here. Ryan Johnson, he sends it in there wide and deep, makes some mistakes right there. He did not hug it going around, so this lap time it's going to be a little bit further back than where he was hoping. He's about 7/10 back now.
But I think at this point, we're crossing the line. There's 11 to go. Throughout the field, we can jump back. This is currently the battle for 11th. This is Matt Dula with the 25 of Devin Rogers behind him. The 98 of Brandon Klekniski. These guys, they're close, but I think everybody, luckily we got our caution out of the way. Took a while, but everybody's settling in and pretty much just, for lack of a better term, pretty much accepting that this is where the race is probably going to end with 9 laps to go.
I mean, they're all single file right now. Nobody's really making a move, but I guarantee you they're waiting for the person in front of them to bobble or make a mistake, and they're going to pounce. They're not just going to sit there.
And right now, this is the closest battle that we have on track. The 21 of Jeff Bergener is under pressure from Cody Hubrid, who has seen some laps led, been up at the front a lot tonight, and just looking to get that one extra position, get from a top 5 to the top 4, maybe try to track down the 20 of Travis Hoefler, who's put himself about a second ahead. But I think at this point, these guys have been in the seat, racing properly for an hour and 20 minutes. Let's just bring it home clean.
I mean, at this point, we're closing in on the final laps here. We got 6 laps to go. They want to see these go green. They want to hurry up and get out of this chair and call it a night. I mean, a lot of them already a lap down, not going to get their laps back. So it is what it is. Ryan Johnson, he's hoping for a caution. He wants one. He wants a legitimate shot since he's up in second, so he can try and get one more shot at Dante Curtis.
And honestly, if for some reason we get the caution, pretty much the top 5 aren't going to come in. 6th, 7th, 8th should, because they aren't going to have to start. They'll be able to get fresh tires and fly by these guys. But you know what? At this point, we're going to cross the line with 3 laps to go. Dante Curtis is cleared a second over Ryan Johnson. And he's looking to get a second win of the year.
And Dante Curtis, he's got a second gap, and then Bryan Hacker's about another second gap back to Ryan Johnson. So, you know, right now they're just running comfortable lap times, just hoping to make it there. And, you know, second and third place, they're the only one out there wishing for a caution, whereas Dante Curtis is like, let's go green. We got 2 laps to go.
And we're starting to see a little bit of that desperation. The 46 was closing in on the 30. Couldn't quite get the nose down there, so we will get ourselves back up to our leader as he starts the final lap of this race. He's got a little bit of lap traffic up there, but even at full tilt, shouldn't catch him. As long as the 73 holds on to it, we are going to get ourselves our winner. And Dante Curtis, after 200 laps, starting at the back of the inverted field, gets himself up for his second win of the year at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, Dante Curtis was able to get through there and chase him down after that first pit stop, was able to maintain the lead for the rest of the race, man, and did one hell of a job there.
All right. We have our results for the night. And why does this not work ever? It looked like it was trying to work there. Got it. I figured it out. It just does not apparently like our heat formats. All right, our winner tonight, Dante Curtis. Second place, Ryan Johnson. Third is Bryan Hacker. Fourth, Travis Hoefler. Fifth, Jeff Bergener. Sixth is Cody Hubert. Seventh is Philip Martin. Eighth, Josh Nelms. Ninth, Justin Grosser. 10th is Gary Eschen.
11th is Devin Rogers. 12th is Matt Dula. 13th is Adam Gable. 14th is Matt Cook. 15th is Brennan Kozinski. 16th is Dustin Shepard. 17th is John Cross. 18th is Jesse Womack. 19th is Jordan Madden. And 20th is Jeff Mathis.
All right, as I click the wrong button as I'm trying to go through this. And 21st is Robbie Clavey. 22nd is Shane Loveridge. 23rd is Justin Rigsby. 24th is Dan Jannon. And 25th is Will Eastman. So, all right, it looks like for the second time we get to chat with Mr. Dante Curtis first. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Wore out after that one, boys. Wore out.
200 laps, man. How did it feel sitting there racing for 200 laps tonight?
Jeez, we got to about, I felt like we'd run, a full race worth, and I looked down as I was closing in on them guys, and I looked down and I was like, oh, hey, you just passed halfway. So, I mean, it was a very, very long race. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't any longer. I'm glad we really had some clean racing there, even maybe if we should have had a caution or two. But that was a lot of fun. Whole bunch of strategies going on at once, but thankfully ours paid off.
Honestly, I was a little bit worried because it seems like at Stafford, sometimes the best way to make up a position is just end up on the inside line during a restart, and you got moved to 12th with the invert, and you still managed to make your way up to the front tonight.
Yeah, thankfully we had one restart there, or two starts, one start and a restart. But thankfully that first one, I guess the row behind didn't get going there, and we was able to get clear by the time we got to the flag stand. So I got down, got in line, and hopped in there and was riding for a little bit. It was really, really hard to pass tonight. You kind of had to assert yourself and throw it on in there and just hope you didn't make contact. So it was really hard coming from probably 8th to 4th or 8th to 3rd, and then once I got to 3rd, the first and second was probably the easiest cars I had to pass all night.
Yeah, you were riding right there on the back of that little freight train, and Gary Eschen was at the front of it, just picking off one car at a time, and then you just finally was able to float through there. You rode at the back for quite a long while, but then I think you picked off Ryan Johnson, then you went to Bryan Hacker, then you went to Gary Eschen, and just made your way up there, and then cleared the gap between first and second, and that was kind of all she rode at that point.
Oh yeah, Gary. I was on the end of that train there, and I knew the first three cars in front of me. I think it was Ryan, Bryan, and Gary. I knew they were really quick, so I was kind of wanting to get past Ryan as quick as possible. But as long as Gary kept on clearing the way and getting us, you know, able to pass cars the easy way, it was pretty easy. But as soon as I had to get past Ryan and Bryan, I don't think they were probably too happy with how I passed them. But I mean, I probably wouldn't be either. But I had to go. So the good thing about it is I knew they would probably be mad, but as soon as I got back around them, I checked out and didn't really have to worry about it.
I mean, sometimes giving people a little nudge is necessary.
It really wasn't a nudge. It was just kind of I dove into one and got around Bryan and Ryan. Kind of, I'd get a run on them, but as soon as they'd chop you down in through the center in 1 and 2, you know, you couldn't get a run down the straightaway. So I finally got a good run going into one time, and I figured now was as good a time as any. So I had to send her on in there.
All right, sometimes giving people a code brown on corner entry is okay.
Yeah, that's exactly how you got to do it. But thankfully your strategy worked out there. I was really worried the strategy wasn't going to work. I don't know what it is, but Bryan and Ryan, you know, just go ahead and say them both. They're really good on strategy, especially Ryan. All those NSRL After Dark guys, they're really good on strategy. So I kept on waiting. As soon as my final pit stop was done, I kept on waiting to say, you know, you're a straightaway behind or something. I didn't know what they were doing, but I figured as long as I was out front and they were losing time behind, maybe I was evening out their strategy a little bit.
So what was going through your head whenever you were leading the race right there? You just passed first and second, and everybody else starts in pit road. You run out there for a couple more laps. You come in, and you're about 3 or 4 seconds back from first and second, sitting running the third. Like, you know, what was going through your head? Was that a plan being that far back? Was it just, you know, it looked like you were on the pit road 9 seconds longer than the 20 car was on the pit road?
Yeah, the way the fueling in these cars works, I mean, it's literally like you're filling these things up with a 5-gallon jug. So as soon as you put 5 gallons in, there's a little pause, and you have to literally the pit guy has to go grab another jug. So we knew that was at 5 gallons, and we knew we needed about 12 gallons more to dump in the car throughout the race. So on that first stop, we knew we was going to put in 6, which was a little more than the 5 gallons. So we went ahead and put 7 in. So when we came down the next time, we only had to do 5, and we had a shorter pit stop there that second time. But they might have done something a little better than me to come out 3 seconds, which that was a good strategy on their part. But as soon as I got out there and saw it was 3 seconds ahead, you know, I was like, well, give it about 10 laps and see how much time we knock out. And we started knocking out a lot of time, so it started going a lot quicker and going a lot easier.
No, it was a great run from you tonight. Get the second win to where, you know what, you knock the demons away, and now it's a little bit more smooth sailing, it seems, now that we're not on digital dirt.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's fun. I mean, I hopped in practice today when the session opened, and I was kind of thrown off for a second. You know, I was used to practicing dirt for last week, so it was good to be back on the asphalt.
Yeah, and the week prior, I mean, it was another short track race, and so you're beating and banging for 1 week, and then you went beating and banging on the dirt for another week, and now you're able to kind of open up the throttle and kind of let her rip going through this track. So, you know, a little bit different pace this week.
Yeah, clean air's a huge factor, and thankfully, for the most part, I had a lot of it. And right there, when the strategies were kind of crossing over, having that clean air and just being able to drive away from those guys and kind of ruin their strategy was really good.
But you had a points lead going in. You have a win. now it's time to move along, start prepping for next week.
Yeah, we got the wrong place to get an EOL at. I think we're racing at South Boston next week, and if my memory serves me correct, last season I won the race right before South Boston, had starting the back and it, and I never even come close to getting up towards the front. So this was a plaque race and had some money on the line, so there wasn't really I really wasn't too worried about next week.
I don't blame you because, again, now you have a trophy on the wall, something to brag about for a little while, and it's time to work towards the next one and try to get 2 out of the 3 that have been available so far.
Yeah, I hope so. This gold car, we debuted it last year at the championship race. It was a plaque race, and we was able to walk away with a dub there. So I figured tonight, since it was a plaque race, whip out the gold paint. And thankfully, it's been fast. It's been 2 for 2, so we're going to keep on rocking with that.
I mean, if it's lucky, that's all that matters.
Yeah. But
we'll let you get back to your team if there's anyone left,
yeah.
so we can chat with Ryan. But great run tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Y'all always put on a really stellar broadcast. Just got to thank all the guys at the NSRL, all the league admins for this is a really good deal to come here and win another plaque. I mean, this is a cool deal they put on, and thanks to them for giving us a good place to race. Thanks to all the guys at DCD Racing there. Had a lot more guys show up tonight and had some good runs there. So thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you, sir, for another great race.
Have a good night, man.
See you.
User left your channel.
All right.
User
onward to
was moved
Mr.
to
Ryan
channel.
Johnson, who made up 9 spots and gets to chat with us once again. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, what's up, guys? Not terrible, but of course we're behind Dante again.
Hey, man. So when you went in, you took right sides only on that last pit stop?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. We saw the lap times right there. Right as you were able to clear and get in second spot, I mean, you were 2 or 3 tenths of it faster than them, and then just slowly the tires just started to equalize there. Is there anything else that you could have done there at the end that, that could have got you a little bit closer to the front?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think we restarted like 6th or something, and we used up a lot of tire trying to get around the guys that didn't take tires and trying to get around them. And Dante started, on the pole on the restart, and he got a good jump, and Bryan got a good jump. And once I got in the third, it was just reeling them in, and I tried to make as quick a work as Bryan as I could, because I knew Dante was going to be a real pain to catch. And I got about half a second, and that's all she wrote. I didn't have anything else for him, unfortunately. Even if I saved tires, I think they would have equalized before I was able to get any closer.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest issues is this is one of the first races we've had that's daytime. So honestly, the tires are going to definitely end up causing a little bit of an issue with overheating. And yeah, you had the unfortunate position of having to try to pass people that didn't take tires that do not want to give any kind of an opportunity for you to pass them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were, 25 laps to go or so. And, I mean, at that point, we only had, I think, 7 or 9 cars on the lead lap. And, everyone wants to get all they can get and keep their positions. And so, I mean, that's what racing's all about, trying to get the best that you can. And I think we got as best as we could tonight. I mean, I had to buy the track before the race, so I definitely I haven't even raced here before, so I'm not complaining.
I won't judge you for not owning one of my favorite short tracks.
He judged me before the race.
I did, because Adam had to buy it too.
Well, that's good. No hard feelings, right?
Yeah. Hey man, but hey, I mean, you had starting with 11th on the invert there. You had to make up the deficit. It's hard to pass here. It's a bottom lane feeder track. You did what you had to do, and you came out there and you come home second tonight, man. Great points night for you overall from this wonderful track of Stafford that you've never raced on before.
Yeah, definitely. We were just trying to maximize points, and hopefully we can, at some of these future tracks, maybe gain some points on Dante. But right now he's just slowly reeling out. We're playing catch up, but we'll try.
It just takes a few consistent nights, a few nights of somebody maybe giving him a little bit of the tip to, rather than moving him just ever so slightly up a lane, just walls. Not that I am condoning that kind kind of action.
But it can happen. Definitely can happen.
Of course. No, and that's the thing is, we don't race like that. I mean, everyone has, a ton of respect in the league, and we race as clean as we can, and that's what we pride ourselves on, so.
I mean, it's another night. Yeah, maybe falling behind or finishing behind Dante, but you still get to hang on to second place in the standings. And at least you're not trying to battle too much, even though literally 1, 2, 3 in the standings finished 1, 2, 3 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we've had pretty consistent finishes so far, so unfortunately it tends to change, the farther we get in the season. I mean, people get in precarious situations and all that. I mean, everything's unexpected, so yeah, we'll see what happens. We're just gonna try and keep being consistent and doing what we can control,
All right, so one final question for you. Do you own South Boston?
I do, unfortunately. Yeah, I actually think I somehow ended up winning that race last season. I can't remember, but I think I lucked into it because we had a green, white checkered or something, and I got lucky. I was trying. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't say it's one of my best tracks, but just try and stay clean and consistent and try and stay out of the big one. Hopefully we don't have one there.
Yeah, it again, you keep knocking some of my favorite short tracks.
I'm sorry.
Next thing you're going to tell me that you hate linear.
Yeah. I played the fifth.
He just got quiet really quickly. On that note, hey man, well, congratulations on your second place finish tonight, and we wish you luck next week at South Boston.
Thank you, guys.
I know everyone hates linear, by the way. It's part of the reason why I like it.
I mean, that's fair. There are a couple tracks that I really love that other people hate, and that's all right. Everyone's got their favorites. So I mean, it's life. We're allowed to have it.
No, a great run from you tonight. We look forward to seeing if you can maybe get that repeat of the South Boston win. But we will catch you next week, good sir.
Thank you, guys. Just got to thank all the sponsors, all the admins in the league, all the drivers that kept this race really, really clean tonight. Fortunately, that was a lot of fun. I like longer races, long green flag runs, and keeping it strategy. And all the people tuning in, you guys are broadcasting, family, friends. Yep. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Yep.
Have a good night.
You too.
User left your channel.
All right, on to the third place finisher.
User was
third
moved to your
place in the
channel.
standings, Mr. Bryan Hacker. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. Happy with the podium as per usual. I can't complain about a podium. Wish it was a little better, but we're here.
Are you going to complain about finishing behind Dante too?
Nah. I don't think I had a chance for him tonight. The only thing we could have done, and I was kicking myself afterwards, is that one yellow. He faked coming to pit road, and I jumped back out on track, and I really should have just gone down and taking tires.
That was going to be my question. Were you kicking yourself for not coming in there at the end? You saw how Ryan Johnson was able to get by you there just with the right sides only there, just enough to get by you. Then his tires kind of even out with everybody else's.
Yeah, I was kicking myself. I think we had more pace than Ryan did tonight. I let him by because I thought he was going to run Dante down, and I was hoping maybe something crazy would happen and I'd sneak something out. But so I wasn't going to put up a fight. But once he got by me and I was able to keep pace with him, I was like, man, I should have taken tires because I felt like we were a little quicker than him tonight. But that's all right.
No, it's still one of those good runs. You qualified well, which obviously turns into a bit of a curse in this league. But it makes the racing that much more interesting. What was going through your mind as we went green for 3/4 of this race?
Once we got spread out a little bit, I thought there was a chance we might be able to go green for a little while. The way that iRacing throws cautions at this track, if somebody's down off the racing groove and in the grass, they usually don't throw a caution, and it looked like that happened maybe a couple times. So I thought we might be able to go all the way, so that after the first stop, I split the second run kind of in half to make sure I had decent tires for both of my runs in the second half of the race instead of just running them all the way out. So I think we would have finished second behind Dante had it stayed green. We had quite a gap on Ryan, but it is what it is. I think Dante probably had this thing won regardless of what anyone did, but if we would have taken tires, it would have made things interesting.
So you ended up towards the end of the first run, ending up as part of that train that one person would start passing someone. Most of the time it was Gary. And then just everyone would just run the train straight by him and then just wait for the next person and just continue that process. Were you just happy to stay in line and just pick off the positions, or were you wanting to be that one initiating it?
No, I didn't mind being behind Gary. I thought we were just going to kind of roll for a little while, and then Dante threw me a dive bomb. I should probably go tell him that he shouldn't do that. But he threw me a dive bomb, caught me completely off guard, and he kind of got around me and got around Gary, and he must have been saving. I think Gary and I were using up a little bit more than he was, and he pulled away from us a little bit, and that's when I decided after a little bit that I was going to try to come down and short pit by a couple laps and see if we could make some time up.
Don't listen to the interview back because Dante knew exactly what he was doing.
I'll have to, yeah.
It's man. Hey, well, congratulations. What's your view next week at South Boston?
I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I've got a work obligation that may or may not run into this race, so I might make it. I like South Boston if we are around. I think we'll run pretty quick there. We usually do. The one scary thing about South Boston is on the straightaways, they have the inside wall that kind of funnels any incidents down. So if somebody, if there's a 2-car pileup or a 2-car wreck coming off of turn 2, it seems to turn into an 8-car pileup pretty quickly with that inside wall. So that's my only concern whenever we go there in any car, is trying to avoid any straightaway pileups. But we'll see. I gotta make it there first.
Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you on track next week. It's a great run to hold on to that third place in the points. We'll see if next week you're there to continue that trend.
I hope so. We'll see. If I can make it next week, then I'll feel pretty good.
I got you, man. Well, congratulations on our third place finish tonight, man. Go enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
User
that
was
is
moved out of your channel.
going to do it for tonight from Ghostfire Media, the North-South Racing League, presented by Cross Collision and Body. Want to give a quick thanks to the rest of our sponsors: J&G Hardwood Flooring, 5-Star Realty Group, Kelly's Custom Engraving, who is providing the plaque for Dante Curtis for the win tonight. We have Track Time Entertainment, Nelms Racing, and finally, we have RC2 Race Promotions. So that is going to do it for us at Ghostfire Media. Catch us Wednesday for the Sim 500 with Nick Adams and Randy Pepper. But I'm Josh Laston. With me is Mr. Adam Wood. Have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.